Vegeta Base. Ну, Vegeta Base есть.
Ну, вы не знаете, просто кто он появился, тут все люди, ну...
Да, раньше не было. Раньше мы его не было.
Ну, да, что же ты, песни.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Today we are reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 6, text number 12. This chapter describes the glories of Sri Advaita Acharya. Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Yandranama
Mangala Charita Sada Mangala Yanama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Yandranama
Mangala Charita Sada Mangala Yanama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Yandranama.
Mangala Charita Sada Mangala Yanama.
Repeat please.
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Mangala Charita Sada Mangala Yandranama
Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Yandranama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Yanama
Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Yandranama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadhama
Mangala Charita Sada Mangala Yanama
Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Yandranama
Jagat Mangala Advaita
Mangala Gunadhama
Mangala Charita
Sada Mangala Yanama
Jagat Mangala,
Jagat Mangala
all auspicious for the world.
all auspicious for the world.
Advaita,
Advaita
Advaita Acharya,
Acharya
Mangala Gunadhama,
Mangala Gunadhama
the reservoir of all auspicious attributes.
reservoir of all auspicious
Mangala Charitra.
Mangala Charitra.
All characteristics are auspicious.
All characteristics are auspicious.
Sada.
Sada.
Always. Mangala. Auspicious. Yanranama. Whose name? So the translation and purport, His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being a reservoir of all auspicious attributes, Sri Advaita Acharya is all auspicious for the world. His characteristics, activities, and name are always auspicious. Purport. Sri Advaita Prabhu, who is an incarnation of Mahavishnu, is an Acharya or teacher. All his activities and all the other activities of Vishnu are auspicious. Everyone who can view the all auspiciousness in the pastimes of Lord Vishnu also becomes auspicious simultaneously. Therefore, since Lord Vishnu is the fountainhead of all auspiciousness, anyone who attracted by the devotional service of Lord Vishnu can render the greatest service to human society. Rejected persons of the material world who refuse to understand pure devotional service as the eternal function of the living entities and as actual liberation of the living being from conditioned life, become bereft of all devotional service because of their poor find of knowledge. In the teachings of Advaita Prabhu, there is no question of fruitive activities or impersonal liberation. Bewildered by the spell of the material energy, however, persons who could not understand that Advaita Prabhu is not different from Vishnu wanted to follow him with their impersonal conceptions. The attempt of Advaita Prabhu to punish them is also auspicious. Lord Vishnu and his activities can bestow all good fortune, directly and indirectly. In other words, being favored by Lord Vishnu and being punished by Lord Vishnu are one and the same because all the activities of Vishnu are absolute. According to some, Mangala was another name of Advaita Prabhu. As a causal incarnation, or Lord Vishnu's incarnation for particular occasion, he is simply agent of ingredient in material nature. Agent or ingredient in material nature. However, he is never to be considered material. All his activities are spiritual. Anyone who hears about and glorifies him becomes glorified himself. For such activities free one from all kinds of misfortune. One should not invest any material contamination or impersonalism in the Vishnu form. Everyone should try to understand the real identity of Lord Vishnu, for by such knowledge one can attain the highest stage of perfection. Amayanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmiritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Manavishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutare Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vachakalpatarubhyasya Kripasina Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadigaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. As you heard from this verse, all things which is connected with Lord Advaita Acharya is auspicious, and the appearance day of Advaita Acharya also auspicious. And Krishna also says, Janma in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam emami vitti tattvata. My activities and my appearance is divya, spiritual, auspicious. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains glory of Lord Chaitanya in 7 verses, glory of Nityananda Prabhu in 5 verses, and glory Shri Advaita Acharya in 2 verses. And I will read these 2 verses originally, which originally were written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Mahavishnu Jagat Karta Mayaya Yaksrijat Yadaha Tasya Vatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvaraha. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through actions of Maya. Advaitam Harinadvaitat Acharyam Bhakti Samshanat Bhaktavataram Ishamtam Advaita Acharyam Ashraye. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. So, Advaita Acharya, this Mangala, this short name of Advaita Acharya. In one more name, there is one more name, Kamalaksha. This name means person whose eyes like lotus petals of lotus flower, beautiful. And also there is other names of Advaita Acharya, but I don't know four. Yeah. And the name Kamalaksha was given to Advaita Acharya in the time of his birth, in the time of name giving ceremony. And also some devotees say that some great devotees say that Advaita also was given in this particular time. And Advaita means without any duplicity, without any fully spiritual, without any duality, without any duality, fully spiritual. Acharya means preacher. Kamalaksha means his eyes as beautiful as lotus petals. And Mangala means auspicious. Yeah.
Nara.
Nada.
Nara.
Nara. In Krishna Kishore says that Lord Chaitanya also called Advaita Acharya Nara. And when Srila Prabhupada gave lecture about Lord Advaita Acharya, first I heard one time, first thing which he told that most important word in these 2 main verses is Advaita Acharya Ishvara. That Advaita Acharya is Vishnu Tata, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we know that Lord Chaitanya came as devotee. His incarnation, Krishna came as a devotee, Lord Chaitanya. His expansion came as Lord Nityananda. His incarnation came as Advaita Acharya. His energy came as Gadadhar Pandit. And his Tatastha Shakti or Jiva Tattva, pure devotee, came as Srivas Pandit. Therefore, there is 5 truths. Panchatattva means 5 truths. There's full manifestation of absolute truth. And this manifestation of absolute truth is most merciful and very powerful. Yeah. We know that one time devotees asked Srila Prabhupada about importance of chanting Panchatattva mantra. And Srila Prabhupada told that this mantra more important than Hare Krishna mantra. The devotee asked why we don't chant Panchatattva mantra on the beach. Srila Prabhupada answered, because Lord Chaitanya instructed us to chant Hare Krishna mantra. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada explains this many times in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We chant Panchatattva mantra before chanting Hare Krishna mantra, because Hare Krishna mantra is worshipping of Radha Krishna, and Radha Krishna, worship to Radha Krishna means worship on the highest level of purity and spontaneous. And Panchatattva mantra, members of Panchatattva, they're most merciful, very merciful, and if we chant the names before Hare Krishna mantra, then we can be excused of any our offenses which we can commit it without any intention. Yeah, and it's very, very important. Therefore, all genuine devotees before chanting Hare Krishna mantra, chant Panchatattva mantra. It's very important. At least one time we should chant. Yeah, usually devotee from 1 to 3 times chant. And Advaita Acharya, what is his function in this 6th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, explains that Advaita Acharya in the charge of creation. He is expansion of Mahavishnu. In other sources in Chaitanya Charitamrita don't tell us about this. His incarnation simultaneously of Sadashiva or Rudra. And Mahavishnu creates this material world, we know, and there is 2 kinds of creation, nimitta and upadana. And it describes that nimitta, that means word Mahavishnu infuses his glands, his energy in all material creation. And after that, his form, his expansion, Advaita Acharya, infuses the creative potency in material ingredients like earth, water, fire, and 24 material ingredients. Yeah. Therefore, Sri Advaita Acharya take part in creation of this material world. And it's very interesting that in this chapter explains some interesting thing about Advaita Acharya. Explains that there is 2 words, Amsha and Anga. Amsha means expansion of the Lord or part of the Lord. Anga means limb. Yeah. And Advaita, there are many Amsha expansion of Lord Mahavishnu. But Advaita Acharya called limb. A limb means those who have more intimate connection, this special expansion. Yeah, more intimate, connected with Mahavishnu than other extensions of Mahavishnu. And therefore we can understand Mahavishnu. After Mahavishnu there is Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Yeah, and what next? Kshirdakashaya Vishnu. In the Bhagavatam explains this order. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita explains some confidential meaning that between Mahavishnu and Garbhodakashaya Vishnu there is Advaita Acharya. Yeah. Yeah. And as explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Advaita Acharya gives, from Advaita Acharya comes many Garbhodakashaya Vishnu and Kshirdakashaya Vishnu as well. So Advaita Acharya, why Advaita Acharya very important, also very important names, because Lord Chaitanya also called him Nara and also Advaita Acharya. Yeah. And we know the story explains in Chaitanya Bhagavat, where We know that during 1 year, Lord Chaitanya held his kirtans in the house of Srivas Pandit, the night kirtans. And we know that Lord Chaitanya was in the mood of service, servant of Lord Krishna, but in one particular day he was in the mood of Supreme Lord. Yeah. In this particular day, as soon as Kirtan was began, Lord Chaitanya sat on the throne on the altar in the house of Srivas Pandit and told devotees, offer prayers in the mood of Bhagavan, offer prayers, my servants. Devotee was very surprised. He said, they begin to offer different prayers, different devotees offer prayers. Then devotees begin bring some bhoga and offer to Lord Chaitanya. It was huge quantity of bhoga, different dishes they offer Lord Chaitanya. After that, Lord Chaitanya was very satisfied, and he asked, he told devotees, ask benedictions. And each devotee came to Lord Chaitanya, asked some benediction. Lord Chaitanya explains each particular personally, each devotee, how he manifests himself in his life. Because not every devotee understand how Lord Chaitanya manifests in his life. And for example, I don't want to explain very long time. For example, the Gangadas, when Muslim soldiers came to Navadvip in this intention to punish Vaishnava for the chanting, Gangadas took his family and came to shore of river shore. It was, and he was very afraid. He was very shocked how to protect his family and not give Muslim soldiers to commit some violence against his wife and his daughter. Yeah, and it was any boat service. How to say, people who bring people who move people from one side of river to another side of river, one shore to another shore. It was anyone. And Gangadas was very, very shocked. And all of a sudden, some boat came, some person in charge of this boat, he told him, come in this boat. And he took him on other side. Yeah. And when Lord Chaitanya explained Gangadas, do you remember? Gangadas, yes, I remember. This person was me. It's me. I came to you and saved you. Brought your family to another side of river. And Gangadas was very in ecstatic love. His tears came from his eyes. He fell down manifest different ecstatic symptoms. And during this lila, this Mahaprakasha lila, or there is another name. When all devotees got benedictions, Srivas Thakur asked Advaita Acharya, asked Lord Chaitanya, what about Mother Shachi? Can you give love to her? And Lord Chaitanya answered, I never will give love of Godhead to Shachi Mata. And devotees were very surprised. Why is it? The mother of Lord Chaitanya. And we know that Lord Chaitanya worshipped his mother. He was really respectful of his mother. He worshipped his mother. And devotee very surprised, and she was Pandit, and other devotees asked, why is that? And Lord Chaitanya said that she committed offense against Advaita Acharya. And what is offense? And Lord Chaitanya explained in Vrindavan Das Thakur explained in Chaitanya Bhagavat that we know that eldest son of Shachimata, Vishwarup, eldest brother of Lord Chaitanya, was regularly was coming to the lectures of Advaita Acharya, and to practice to do this, the mood of renunciation awaked in his mind. Yeah. And after that, he took sannyas and he left his home. And for Shachimata, for mother, it's very, it's very difficult to tolerate this naturally. And but she tolerated this. She didn't say some criticize against Lord Nityananda. And when Nimai began to come to lecture of the Advaita Acharya, she was very disturbed, yeah, because she expected that Nimai also can take sannyas and leave me alone. And she was, she thought this person called himself Advaita, which means without any duality. But in reality, he's Dvaita, full of duality, because he steal my sons. It was her thoughts. And what Chaitanya said that she cannot get love of God because she committed offense to Advaita Acharya. It's a very interesting point. And when devotee came to Advaita Acharya, also they came to Shachimata, explained what happened. Advaita Acharya began to glorify Shachimata as eternal mother of Lord. And you know that Shachimata is not ordinary devotee, it's Nitya Siddha Parikara, eternal elaborated person, eternal associated of the Lord. And Advaita Acharya glorified Shachimata. But Shachimata accepts this very humble way. When Advaita Acharya, in the kirtan, when Advaita Acharya, sometimes he can fall down out of ecstasy. When he fall down, she approached him and took the dust from his lotus feet upon her head. Yeah. And after that, only after that, she will able to get love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya gave love of Godhead. This very interesting story explains that intimate connection between Advaita Acharya and Lord Chaitanya, and how he is dear to Lord Chaitanya. Because, as I have explained, Advaita Acharya is a part of Absolute Truth, one of the 5 parts of Absolute Truth. Yeah. And in the 3rd chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the many scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Purana, explains the reasons for Lord Chaitanya's coming in this material world. There are different reasons. But we should note carefully that one of the reasons, which is described in the 3rd chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, is Lord Chaitanya came because Advaita Acharya cried out to him for the sand. Yeah, sometimes we read but not pay much attention to these verses. But actually, and in many different places of Vaishnava Acharyas explained that Advaita Acharya was able to bring Lord to this material world. Yeah, explains that Advaita without any duplicity. Acharya means perfect teacher, perfect preacher, perfect devotee. When he saw that there are many materialists in this world, and they are not serious in accepting Krishna consciousness, he thought that I need to bring the Lord to this material world in order to he give them love of Godhead. He changed their mind. And what he began to do, he remember verses from Shastras, from Gautamya Tantra. In order to please the Lord is enough to offer tulasi flowers, and Ganga water, and Lord will be very satisfied. And Advaita Acharya began to worship his Shalagrama Shila, because in every Brahmana family it was worshipped. The Brahmana families worshipped Shalagram Shila. On the bank of Ganges, he began to worship Shalagram Shila with tulasi leaves, flowers, and Narasimha. I don't know. It was Narasimha Shalagram. And he began to worship and cry very loudly about Lord Chaitanya's coming in this material world. And therefore, it is described that he was able to bring Lord Chaitanya by his devotion, by his intimate connection to this material world. And Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport of this section of Chaitanya Charitamrita why the Advaita Acharya didn't liberate all these fallen souls. What is the reason? He is Ishvara, he is Vishnu, he is Supreme Lord. And answer for this is that Advaita Acharya show example that any Acharya, any devotee, any preacher of Krishna consciousness always must be in the humble mood, dependence from the Lord, and understand that without mercy of the Lord, without His benediction, he can't preach. Not possible to preach and convert anybody in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, this his lila shows that Advaita Acharya show other preachers they should be very humble and dependent of Krishna's mercy and His benediction. And therefore, Advaita Acharya knows about Lord Chaitanya's coming, and he is one of the reasons of Lord Chaitanya coming. But Chaitanya Charitamrita explain more, because more about intimate connection Advaita Acharya and Lord Chaitanya. And in the 19th chapter of Antya Lila Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that Advaita Acharya knows when Lord Chaitanya returned to the spiritual world. He knows this. Yeah, nobody knows, but Advaita Acharya, this Advaita Acharya knows when Lord Chaitanya stopped his pastimes in this material world and live in the spiritual world. And it is described in 19th chapter of Antya Lila that we know that Lord Chaitanya, because of his love to his mother, he every year sent Jagadananda Pandit, his intimate associate, to Bengal. And Lord Chaitanya very often says that in Bengal I have two shelters. It's Mother Ganges and my mother, Chachimata. Yeah. And he used to send every year Jagadananda Pandit. He used to give him very special Jagannatha prasadam, costly prasadam, very special gifts for Shachimata and for devotees. And we know that chief of the Bengal devotees was Advaita Acharya. Yeah. And in that particular time, when Janada Pandit used to spend about 1 month in Bengal, and then he returned to Janata Puri. In this particular time, he offered all prayers, or offered all gifts to Mother, to Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya asked Jagadananda Pandit to give Lord to bring to the Lord one poem which composed by Advaita Acharya. It's a very interesting poem. And Jananda Pandit accepted in the funny mood. He was very, very inspired. And he brought this poem to Lord Chaitanya. And in the presence of other devotees and Swarup Damodar Goswami, he explains how things is going on in Bengal, how is devotee. He explains to Lord Chaitanya different prayers. He explained different prayers of different devotees, the feelings of love to Lord Chaitanya about his mother. And then he said that Advaita Acharya sent some poem for you. And Lord Chaitanya asked, what is the point? Poem. I try to read this, just very little but interesting. In his poem, Advaita Prabhu first offered his obeisances hundreds and thousands times into the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He then submitted the following statement at his lotus feet. Please inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. Inform him also that in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand. Further, tell him that those now mad in ecstatic love are no longer interested in the material world. Also tell Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one who has also become a madman in ecstatic love, means Advaita Prabhu, has spoken these words. And when Lord Chaitanya heard this poem, he smiled and he said, that is his order. And then he fell silent. And nobody understood what is the meaning of this poem. But only one person, Sarup Damadara, because he is most intimate associate, he understood nothing good with this poem. And he asked Lord Chaitanya explain what does it mean. Yeah. And Lord Chaitanya explained to Sarupa Damadara, but also not direct, also not direct explanation, indirect, but more clear. Advaita invites the Lord come and be worshipped, and to perform the worship, he keeps the deity for some time. After the worship is completed, he sends the deity somewhere else. I don't know the meaning of this poem, nor do I know what is in Advaita Prabhu's mind. Advaita Acharya is great mystic. No one can understand him. He is expert in writing sonnets that even I myself cannot understand. Hearing this, all the devotees were astonished, especially Swarup Damodar, who became somewhat morose. Yeah, he understand. Yeah, and meaning wrote this short story that Advaita Acharya knows when Lord Chaitanya leave this material world. And Lord Chaitanya, by explaining Sarupa Damadara meaning of this poem, Lord Chaitanya glorified Advaita Acharya, that Advaita Acharya bring deity here, means Lord Advaita Acharya bring me here, keep me here, as he likes, and send me to another place. Yeah. Lord Chaitanya shows that he like his servant of Advaita Acharya, like his property. Yeah. Because we know that Lord is property of his unalloyed devotees, and Advaita Acharya, one of the topmost unalloyed devotees. And simultaneously, he is Vishnu Tattva, he is son, he is Lord. And although Lord Chaitanya stayed after this story, Lord Chaitanya stayed during 12 years in material world. He continued to stay, but after this, getting this poem, his ecstasy became double, increasing double. Yeah, becomes more strong. Yeah, it's very, very interesting story which explains the glory of Advaita Acharya in his very important role in Lord Chaitanya pastimes. And we know that Advaita Acharya Prabhu always considered himself as a servant of Lord Chaitanya. And we know that in the relationship with Krishna, there is 5 kinds of relationship. But with Lord Chaitanya, it can be only one kind of relationship. It means service, servitorship. It cannot be other kind of relationship with Lord Chaitanya. There are different, not authorized sampradayas like Sahajiya, Gauranga Nagari, and other. He claimed that they have conjugal relationship with Lord Chaitanya, but it's strictly forbidden. It's not approved by our Vaishnava Acharyas. And we know that Advaita Acharya was he was the leader of Brahmanas in the Navadvip, and he was born in Brahmana family. He was very, very learned, and all other Brahmanas, not only devotees, but all other Brahmanas accept him as a leader, a most senior devotee, most senior Brahman, more experienced. And we know that Advaita Acharya, his age was 52 years elder than Lord Chaitanya. Yeah. He played role as a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, the god brother of Ishvara Puri, the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. And Advaita Acharya never liked that Lord Chaitanya offered him respect, because from any angle of vision, Advaita Acharya was superior position. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya always offered obeisances to Advaita Acharya and consider him like elderly person. And we know that one time Advaita Acharya decided to preach philosophy of impersonalism. Yeah, in his lectures, in his house, he preached impersonal philosophy. And we know that I don't want to explain in details, but maybe somebody want to add to. Yeah, and we know that Lord Chaitanya, when he heard and he knew about this, he came to Advaita Acharya, took him. Catch his hairs, and began bite him, and very severely. And in this, when he was doing this, Advaita Acharya was very happy, because in this particular time, Lord Chaitanya treat him as a servant, not as a master. Yeah, and Advaita Acharya was very happy of that. Yeah, the Lord Chaitanya accept him as a servant, and he punished him. Yeah, he beat him. And this very interesting lila. And from these explanations, we see that glory Advaita Acharya. And the verse which we read today explains that all topics, names, pastimes with connection, which have connections with Advaita Acharya, very auspicious Mangala, because Lord Advaita Acharya Mangala, one of his name. Therefore, when we remember, glorify, meditate upon his transcendental pastimes, Advaita Acharya, we also bring some auspiciousness in our life. And there is chance to get special benedictions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's our hope. I stop here. Maybe somebody want to add some comments or some questions, please. The time 8:30. We should stop. Yeah, the time of. Maybe there is some questions. Yeah, past. Yeah, yes, it's compulsory to fast till noon. It's very, very important. Some maybe questions. Yeah.
Yeah, well, question. You mentioned something earlier, and also seen on the ISKCON site, Desiree said that Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. So can you clarify that, please?
In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is no explanation of that Lord Chaitanya is expansion of Sadashiva, but it's explained in other books of Vaishnava Acharyas. Only thing which I know that the meaning Sadashiva, expansion of Sadashiva is Rudra. Rudra means anger. In this quality displayed in the person of Advaita Acharya as anger toward atheists. I heard this explanation in the lecture of Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj. Yeah, it's what I know. It's what I know about Sadashiva function in the person of Advaita Acharya. Yeah, his qualities.
Also, that Shiva means all auspiciousness also.
Yeah.
So does you say Advaita also means that. So
Yeah, Shiva means auspicious. Yeah, this one of the meaning of Shiva, auspicious. Yeah. Shri Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki, Shri Panchatattva ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.